Skyscraper, a balcony, sunset. A silhouetted figure stands on the wrong side of a balcony railing, facing a perilous drop down 10 floors. Then the figure leaps off the edge. Kai's apartment, the bedroom, day. This is Kai at age 39, week-long stubble on his face. His pillow is soaked with sweat. The study, day. Kai stares at a coin in his palm. At his laptop, Kai types. Words appear on the monitor.
This never happened. But I wish it did.
The school hall. The Ashtonian choir decked out in their school uniforms, voices blending perfectly together. The incoming freshmen watch the performance rapt. A large banner hangs in the back. Welcome to Ashton Junior College, class of 92. The school principal, Mr. Liu, gives a welcome address.
Congratulations to all of you for making it to Ashton. You're the cream of the crop. Ashtonians face a unique challenge. How do you distinguish yourself from the rest of your distinguished peers?
His speech continues to unfold as we hear a rousing cheer. The school field, an Ashtonian rugby player executes a bone-crunching tackle on an opposing player.
On the sports field? Or through prestigious national competition?
The auditorium. Now wearing a blazer, the same rugby player puts forth an impassioned speech in the national debate finals.
Evince the flaw in the opposition's argument. They claim to champion simplicity. I say they are merely being simplistic.
The exam hall. A flurry of flipping flashcards give way to heads bent low in exam halls and furious scribbling.
Academic excellence is a given. How about striving for academic perfection?
A classroom. A teacher hands out grades. A student sobs as he fixates upon a single B- in a report card filled with A's.
Think carefully about how you want to separate yourself from the pack. Rise to the challenge. Become someone extraordinary. Someone like no other.
A flag-raising ceremony. Orderly rows of students in school uniform. Picture-perfect conformity. The national flag creeps up the pole, followed closely by the school flag.
Ashton has produced 86 President's Scholars, 2 presidents, 2 prime ministers, 3 speakers of parliament, and over 100 ministers. I do not exaggerate when I say that you are amongst the future leaders of the country. This is the chance of a lifetime. Do not squander it.
The voices from the choir move to their final triumphant cadence, but then halt abruptly at school, the parade square. Kai at age 17, as he stifles a yawn.
Gentlemen, this is a waste of time, not just for you, but for me and the school.
Mr. Cheng, the discipline master, paces around the day's latecomers, delivering his usual admonitions. Finally, Mr. Cheng stops directly in front of Kai.
Mr. Tan Boon Kai, 3rd time this week. Why can your sister get to school on time, but you can't?
Guess I took the scenic route.
Next time I catch you for any infraction, anything at all, your parents will hear from me, and it will go on your permanent disciplinary record. The nail that sticks up gets hammered down. Remember that. Am I clear?
Loud and clear, sir.
At school, a remote corner. Kai hunches by the wall, perusing what looks like an economics textbook. He flips a page, whistles. We now see a porno mag concealed behind the economics dust jacket. Beside him is friend and fellow degenerate, Swan Jin, Brill-slicked hair, squatting by the drain and looking thoughtful. The pair take turns puffing from the same cigarette.
I've been thinking a lot about this girl.
Who?
Serious question, bro. Have you ever fallen in love before?
Every day, bro. Every day.
I mean it. Like, how do you know you're really in love?
It's very simple. Picture that girl in your mind, jerk off, see whether you feel the same way afterwards.
That's just it. With this girl, I don't even want to jerk off. It's like, I respect her, you know? All right, this is going to sound gay as shit, but I feel like I want to be a better person for her instead of being degenerates.
We're not degenerates, we're rebels.
What are we rebelling against? Huh? A good life, university, family?
So who's this chick? Hey, you got to tell me, man.
Do you know who Jazz is from the Ashtones?
The slightly overweight one?
Hey, bastard. She's really a sweet girl, okay?
The bell rings as they spray deodorant on themselves and rinse with mouthwash, spitting into the drain.
Well, it happens to best of us. My condolences.
Condolences to you too, because it's coming for you. Mark my words. Eh?
Not if I run fast enough.
A hallway, later. Kai strolls along, holding his porno/econs mag in his hand, when a voice booms at Kai from the far end of the hallway.
Oi!
Kai turns around partially and sees his nemesis, Mr. Chang, pausing his chat with another teacher to glare at him. He gestures evocatively at Kai's waist. Kai whirls away, hoping Mr. Chang didn't catch his face.
Shit.
Lucky for Kai, Mr. Chang's eyesight fails him.
What's your name? Come here.
Kai remains frozen. He looks down at the poorly disguised porno mag in his hand.
Shit, fuck.
Mr. Chang stares at him, annoyed when Kai doesn't make a move. He puts his hands on his hips, a danger sign. Still not turning around, Kai walks away in the other direction, mustering every ounce of casualness possible.
Oi! I'm talking to you. Oi!
Kai's nerve breaks. He bolts. Furious, Mr. Chang gives chase. Kai turns back briefly and freaks when he realizes Mr. Chang is in pursuit. Kai dodges and weaves around corners and even plays it cool near other teachers. But Mr. Chang stays on his tail. The canteen. Kai bolts into the canteen. Surely Mr. Chang can't find him amongst the throngs of students, or can he? Kai's point of view, Mr. Chang. As he surveys the crowd, still not giving up. Kai ducks out of sight below the canteen tables. He leopard crawls away from Mr. Chang in an attempt to escape. Around them, students realize what's happening and erupt into barely restrained glee. They don't give Kai away, however. Mr. Chang continues to hunt for Kai relentlessly, like the discipline master version of Terminator. He looks around in disgust, having temporarily lost his prey. Kai scrambles in front of a pair of dress pants and leather shoes that distinctly don't belong to a student.
Kai, what on earth are you doing?
Kai looks up and sees Mr. Hayes, an expat teacher from England, peering down at him.
Just hanging around.
Kai, super casual-like, gets up off the floor and sits on the bench opposite from Mr. Hayes. He shoves the porno mag, still in the Econ's dust jacket, under his butt. Kai looks behind him, no sign of Mr. Chang. He turns back to Mr. Hayes and sees Mr. Chang right next to him.
What's going on, Chang?
I was chasing a boy for an untucked shirt. Was it you, Kai? It looked a lot like you.
Sir? I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Hayes and I were discussing the Bard, William Shakespeare. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene.
Where did you come from?
Near the AV lab.
You chased the boy from the AV lab all the way here for an untucked shirt.
Today it's an untucked shirt. Tomorrow it's Smoking? Skipping class? Staining the reputation of the school.
Come now, Chang. You're being hyperbolic.
Mr. Chang returns his gaze to Kai. Finally, unable to ascertain Kai's guilt for sure, Mr. Chang departs.
Thank goodness I ran into you, sir.
Mr. Hayes gets up.
Come to me in my office, Kai. Something I need to speak to you about.
Yes, sir.
He goes, when suddenly a group of students around him break into hoots and cheers.
Woo!
Nice call.
That was awesome.
Very solemnly, Kai climbs on top of a canteen bench, all eyes on Kai, as he suddenly breaks into a running man dance while flashing a goofy grin. More hoots and cheers from students.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Hey!
All right.
The teacher's room. A framed quote sits on Mr. Hayes' desk. It says, "Never let school get in the way of your education." Kai stares at it as Mr. Hayes returns.
Great quote, isn't it?
Pink Floyd, right?
Mark Twain. Take a seat.
Kai sits down.
I'm in trouble, sir.
Trouble? No, you aren't. Not the type you're thinking of, anyway.
Look, sir, regarding Mr. Chang, I didn't want to say this, but he's marked me.
What's marked?
I mean, he's specifically out to get me, like specifically me.
This isn't about Mr. Chang or about discipline, not directly at least. I don't want to sound presumptuous, Kai, but having seen a number of boys like you over the years, and girls too for that matter, I think you need to find some solid footing. Have you seen the film Rebel Without a Cause, starring James Dean?
I think I heard of him. Handsome, charming, right? Icon for the ages.
An icon, yes, of disaffected youth. Delinquent, disillusioned teens, combative, rebellious, but who or what they're rebelling against, they don't have the foggiest notion.
Sir, it's only an untucked shirt.
It's not the shirt, nor the latecomings, nor the wisecracks in lit class, nor propping old legs up on the school desk. It's what they represent. But all this is merely my pitch for you for something that I think will provide direction in your hitherto directionless life.
Mr. Hayes gets up and begins rummaging through the top of his desk for some sort of handout.
No, sir, if this is about joining a church, I really don't think this...
Mr. Hayes thrusts a flyer into his hands. The flyer reads, "Romeo and Juliet, Annual Drama Club Production. Audition now."
Romeo and Juliet?
Yep. The teacher in charge of your drama club thinks it'll do you a world of good.
Who's the teacher in charge?
Me. To be utterly pragmatic, first, you get more exposure to your lit text.
Well, I was actually thinking of dropping lit.
Second, you learn the virtues of working with others instead of against them. This production is student-led, student-directed. No authority figures, just your own peers.
Yeah, but I can't act.
Neither could James Dean. Third, and finally, maybe, just maybe, your performative streak could go somewhere useful.
The bell rings and Mr. Hayes starts getting ready to go.
Just come to the audition, Kai. Think of it as a favor for your favorite teacher.
Not sure you're my favorite teacher anymore.
Outside the drama room. Kai arrives for the audition to see a row of auditionees reading scripts while waiting for their turn. A drama club member, Ben, floats around handing out audition scripts.
What's this?
It's a short scene. You need to memorize part A. Try to memorize it without inflection, emotion, or preconception of what the scene is about.
Shit.
He sits down and begins reading the scene to himself.
Oh, what's this?
Kai looks up to see his same-age sister, Juan, peering at him.
My brother doing drama? What did you do? Fall down? Hit your head?
It's to please Mr. Hayes. And once they see I can't act, I'm off the hook.
Oh yeah, it's not because there's like a distinct majority of girls in the drama club? Like 3 girls for every guy, so I've heard.
Are they Cho? Or the dogs?
Then, his point of view. A girl with a red hoodie arrives. She gets handed a script and she begins reading it. Her name, as we will find out later, is Anna. The drama room. Close up on Kai and Anna.
Hi,
Hello.
how's everything?
Fine, I guess.
Well,
Well, what?
what did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said nothing.
Sorry I asked.
It's all right.
Cool.
We now see that Kai and Anna are actually in the middle of their audition. Christina, the drama club chair, sporting a short, boyish bob of hair, smiles at the two auditionees. Mr. Hayes sits back further, silently observing.
I'm going to give you the circumstances for both of you.
Christina brings Kai aside.
Kai, last night you went to Zook, you had a few drinks, and you kind of fooled around a bit with a hot girl. You feel terrible because you didn't mean to cheat on your girlfriend, Anna, but you're sure that nobody saw you. And what Anna doesn't know can't hurt her, right? Now, this is the next day, you'd overslept because of the hangover, and you're almost 2 hours late to hang out with Anna at her place.
Christina moves to Anna and brings her aside.
Anna, last night, Kai went out with his friend Suzuki. You didn't go, but a friend of yours went, and this morning she called to let you know she saw someone that looked awfully like Kai fool around with another girl. But she wasn't positive it was him. You're pretty sure it's just a big mistake, but all the same, you want to get to the bottom of things. Now, Kai was supposed to come hang out with you this morning, but he's more than 2 hours late, which means you feel a little uneasy.
Christina goes back to her seat.
Anna, you can start on the couch, and Kai, you can enter in front.
Hello.
Hi.
How's everything?
Yeah, fine, I guess.
Well,
Well, what?
what did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said nothing.
Sorry I asked.
It's all right.
That's pretty good. What do you think, Chris?
I want to try something.
She whispers to Mr. Hayes. He listens and nods.
Okay, I have new circumstances for you guys.
She speaks to Anna first.
Pretty much the same as just now, but the friend of yours is 100% sure that it was Kai who fooled around yesterday at the club. 100%.
Christina moves to Kai.
It's the same as just now, but the reason you were fooling around with another girl was because you found out that Anna had been cheating on you. So you cheated on her too, for revenge, because you want to fuck her up.
Christina moves back to her seat.
From the top, when you're ready.
Kai enters the scene.
Hello.
Hi.
Well,
Well. What?
what did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said nothing.
Sorry I asked.
It's all right.
Bravo.
Thanks, guys. We'll be in touch.
Outside the drama room, Kai and Anna exit the room, walking past the remaining auditionees.
You did it to hurt me, didn't you? I mean, the scene.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, but because you hurt me first.
Yes, how wonderfully complicated. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, what?
Are you that guy that leopard crawled through the canteen? Legendary. Okay, well, I'll see you around.
Yeah.
She heads off. In Kai's home at night. On photos featuring Kai, Xuan, and their father, their mother is conspicuously absent from the pictures. Wide, a modest, middle-class four-room flat. Juan, wearing glasses and home clothes, sits at the dining table, highlighting passages from a thick textbook. Kai enters via the main door, still in his school uniform.
Hey, fuckface.
Go fuck yourself.
Don't speak that way to your sister.
Oh, hi, Pa. Didn't see you.
Kai's father is preparing instant noodles in the kitchen. A bottle of beer, already half empty, sits on the counter. He's still in work clothes.
Why so late, Kai?
My lit teacher asked me to attend an audition for the school play.
School play?
Yeah, but you know, I don't think I'm getting in. I didn't really want to audition either. But since Mr. Hayes asked me, I couldn't say no.
Kai's father emerges from the kitchen, separating the beaded curtain in the doorway clearly so as not to spill his food. He sits at the table and begins to eat. Suddenly, his pager buzzes.
Tan here. Uh-huh.
What's the play?
Romeo and Juliet.
You in a play? That would be something to see.
He flicks Juan on the arm.
I've already left the office, but I'll go in early tomorrow. Start at 4 a.m. Should be fixed by 7.
He puts down the phone. Sitting back down, he resumes his dinner.
So your teacher asked you to join the play?
Yeah, but like I said, I'm probably not getting in.
But what if you do?
I'm sure Kai knows his priorities. Right, Kai?
Yeah, absolutely. Any more noodles? I'm starving.
Kai's home, later. All quiet. Kai, now in home clothes, exits the bathroom, goes to his room, and shuts the door. We hear the click as the door locks. We hold on the closed door, then the door unlocks, and Kai comes out, trots down to the living room, grabs a tissue box, goes back inside his room, and closes the door and locks it again. Kai's home, his bedroom, moments later. Kai unlocks a cabinet, takes out a 1,000-piece jigsaw box from within and places it on his desk. He opens it reverently, almost as though he was unfurling a precious work of art. Beneath the puzzle pieces, he carefully unearths a porno mag. We now look down at Kai from the ceiling. His eyes are closed, his hands moving familiarly off screen. Beside him lays the porno mag, folded face down on the bed. We push in on Kai. Insert of sexy centerfold, babe. Back to Kai. Insert of boob or leg. Back to Kai. Insert of Anna, flashbacking to their audition.
What did you do last night?
Shit. Get out of my head.
He sits up. As he does so, we tilt to reveal Anna standing silhouetted in a spotlight near the window.
Yeah, look, first of all, you don't even have boobs. Yeah, you bet your ass I noticed. And second of all, do I even need a second?
Do you always talk to people in your head?
Imagination beats reality, don't you know? Anyway, I just don't want anything that's gonna be anything. Clear?
Crystal.
Kai turns away from her, lays back on his bed, and covers his head with the porno mag.
On my audition form, I said I'm fine with any role, but in hindsight, I think I can only play one of the smaller roles.
Classroom. Day. The classroom is empty, save Christina and Kai.
I'm not good at memorizing lines. Plus, I got a shitload of schoolwork to do.
We want you to be Romeo.
But I can't really act. All I did was react to the situation you gave me.
That's what acting is. Reacting honestly to the given situation.
It wasn't me, though. It was Anna. I simply followed her lead.
It was both of you together, which is why we cast her as Juliet.
Okay.
There's actually another thing. Something more important than the school production.
What?
It's a secret project. We are planning to put up an alternative interpretation, a secret production of Romeo and Juliet a week after the school production. It will take place off campus.
And well, what's this alternative production? Why does it have to be a secret?
Let me start by saying we'll need you to play a bunch of small roles in the secret production, at least 2 or 3 different parts.
Wait a second. I don't play Romeo?
Yeah.
Well, who plays Romeo then?
Me.
Wait, you mean? Oh, whoa.
To put it bluntly, we don't think the modern audience cares about feuding families. We're upping the stakes, so to speak, by adding homophobic outrage to the mix. Okay, we aren't the first to attempt a gay or lesbian interpretation of Romeo and Juliet in the world, but we'd probably be the first in Singapore.
But homosexuality is illegal here, right?
Gay sex is criminalized, yes, which is part of our point. Legality aside, homosexuality is stigmatized up and down the system, mass media included. We want to highlight how oppressive this whole thing is.
Your parents are okay with this?
Well, they don't know. If you join us, you can't tell your parents either.
Why ask me? Why not your own drama club people?
To be honest, there's a bit of a rift in the club. Many have declined. They pretty much said they didn't want to rock the boat.
Well, it's not just rocking the boat, it's smashing it into tiny pieces.
Well, don't rule it out just yet. Can you think about it and let me know tomorrow? In the meantime, have a talk with my vice chair. She might help you come to your decision.
Who's your vice chair?
Outside school. The road. Anna, who you might have guessed to be the drama club vice chair, and Kai head toward the bus stop outside of school.
I don't know. You must think we're out of our minds taking on gay rights and gay issues.
No, I think it's highly commendable, actually. In mad respect.
So, you're in?
Well, it's just it doesn't feel scary to you?
Sure, I'm scared. But that's how you know it's worth it, right?
All right. Hold on a second.
Kai fishes in his pocket. He pulls out a coin.
Heads, I do it. Tails, I don't.
He tosses the coin and catches it. The coin remains in his closed fist.
Aren't you going to see what you got?
Nope. I'll explain next time. When we rehearse.
The bus stop later. They reach the bus stop where Gary waits for Anna.
Sorry. I hope you weren't waiting too long.
Not long at all.
On Kai as he tenses, checking out their vibe without looking like he's checking them out. His point of view, Gary and Anna. They speak to each other in intimate low voices. The bus comes.
Which bus are you getting?
The other one.
The bus screeches to a halt. Anna waves to Kai as she and Gary board the bus. Kai waves back. On Kai as he watches the bus trundle away.
Shit, fuck.
Kai's study, present day. Older Kai taps away on his laptop. He stops, goes back, deletes. On a printer, as it pushes out a bunch of pages, Kai's story manuscript. We land on the final printed page, completely blank except for a simple title, School Story, Second Draft.
Why are you doing this?
Anna's house, the living room, evening. Stark and simple furnishings, practically like a stage set. Older Kai sits opposite Anna. She closes Kai's story manuscript and tosses it on the coffee table between them.
Why are you doing this? I've moved on.
Because I can't.
The drama room, 1991. Back in the past. An ensemble of drama club members stand in a warm-up circle. Various new faces here, but for the meantime we focus on teenage Kai, Anna, Gary, and Christina, who's leading the warm-up.
Breathe. Just breathe. In. Out. In. Out.
As they control their breath, Kai flicks a glance towards Anna. She returns the gaze briefly. Then Kai's gaze flicks over to Gary, who is also in the circle. Gary returns his gaze briefly.
Now I want you to close your eyes and extend your awareness to the people around the circle. Feel and feed off their presence. Don't think of I or me. Think of us and we.
We pick out Anna, eyes closed, taking this all in.
We are all connected. We are living, breathing human beings joined together by a universal consciousness. We are all one.
On Christina.
10.
9.
8.
Again.
10.
The drama room, later. We catch Kai, Anna, and Christina mid-rehearsal for the balcony scene where Romeo sneaks into the Capulet garden.
An action or goal is basically what your character wants. Strong actions lead to strong scenes. Your character's lines are, in a sense, secondary. They arise out of your character's actions or goals.
With strong actions, you don't even need lines.
Let's take the balcony scene. What does Romeo want? What's his goal?
Well, he wants to see the love of his life.
What are the obstacles?
My nurse. He doesn't want the nurse to hear him.
And we don't want Gary, Tybalt, to catch us either.
If you do get busted in the Capulet garden, Romeo, you're going to get killed. You know that, right?
Hope you're worth it.
The drama room, another day. Kai watches Anna out of the corner of his eye as she rehearses a scene in a different part of the room.
Kai, your turn.
Oh, yeah. Why then, oh brawling love, oh loving hate, oh anything of nothing did create.
Of nothing first create.
Of nothing first create. Oh heavy lightness, serious vanity. Well.
Misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms.
Thanks, Gary. Kai, you were supposed to be off book today.
I didn't have time to.
Sure. Gary, do you mind helping Kai run his lines? We can't really shape the scene in a meaningful way until we get our lines down.
Sure.
Gary leads Kai off to the side.
Don't worry, you're doing fine. It's a big role and you're not even from the drama club.
Yeah, surprised you couldn't find anyone from the club to play him.
Actually, we did.
Who?
Me. In fact, I'd memorized half of Romeo's lines already, but the rugby team got asked to an invitational tournament in Thailand during Crunch Week. Not fair for me to play the lead role if I can't make it for tech rehearsals. Don't worry, we'll get you up to speed. I'm sure you do a terrific job as Romeo. Maybe not as terrific as me, but terrific job all the same.
Gary turns away. We push in on Kai. Kai's home, evening. Juan's in the middle of reading 8 Days on the couch when Kai tosses his copy of the script to her.
Can you help me run lines?
Shakespeare? I don't like Shakespeare.
You're not doing this for you. You're doing it for me.
Montage. Kai learns lines and gets close to Anna. Kai runs lines with Xuan.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this shrine,
This holy shrine.
At rehearsal, Christina moves Anna, Juliet into position.
my gentle fine is this. My lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Great. Anna, I want you to stand firm here. Kai, could you shift this way, please?
The living room. Kai sprawls on the couch and reads from his script. He hears his father enter the front door and hurriedly hides the script under several econs books.
Don't sleep too late, Kai.
Yes, Pa.
Kai's father disappears into his own room. Kai slides the script out again and studies it. At rehearsal, eyeing Gary at the other side of the room, Kai senses an opening and sits down next to Anna, who's reading from her script while plugged into her Walkman.
What are you listening to?
Simon and Garfunkel. You know them?
Not really.
Oh, they're good.
She offers him an earbud and he pops it into his ear. We hear a snippet of music filtered over the earbud. At a remote corner, Kai flings away his cigarette when Xuan Jin arrives and opens his backpack. Xuan Jin whips out a bunch of cassettes with Simon and Garfunkel written on the labels.
Is this the first time I'm giving you something that's not porn? My boy's all grown up.
Shut up.
At home, the living room. More running of lines. Xuan doesn't even refer to the script.
Alas, that love, so gentle in this view.
Why are you learning Benvolio's lines?
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view.
Should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Now you're just showing off.
At the secret rehearsal. A special rehearsal for the secret production. Much fewer people in this room, with Mr. Hayes nowhere in sight. Christina acts as Romeo.
I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars.
Kai and Anna sit on the floor by the side, watching. As Christina continues, Kai feels a pat on his arm. It's Anna.
Isn't she great?
Yeah.
At the secret rehearsal later. Rehearsal's over. Anna comes up to Kai.
So you remember Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah. In fact, I've actually.
He stops short when Anna hands him a cassette. She heads off, walking together with Christina, on Kai staring at the cassette. At home, Kai's bedroom. Kai inserts the cassette into his mini compo and presses play. As he turns the volume up, the non-diegetic soundtrack of this montage blends seamlessly with the diegetic music, building up to a triumphant coda. On Kai, lying back on his bed. At school, the drama room, day. Christina addresses the club members seated on the floor.
Today's exercise focuses on stage fright. Being on stage, it's like dancing. Nothing's more scary than being that very first person dancing on an empty dance floor. But it's a leap of faith. With that first person's conviction, he brings in the second, and then the third, and the rest follow. So, who wants to get this party started?
I'll do it.
Kai gets up and moves to the stage area. On Kai. He mimes turning a knob on the radio, and amazingly, we hear the crackle of white noise until he lands on a station and an upbeat song blares into life. He starts gyrating to the beat. As he gets into it, the room darkens surrealistically, and disco lights come on. Kai's dancing is wild, uninhibited, the sort of dancing that comes from downing 6 Long Island iced teas. Wide on Kai. No music, no lights, but still crazy and wild. On audience. One by one, some other members join Kai, gyrating, pumping out their moves. Gary doesn't join in. The canteen, day. Kai plays carom with Xuan Jin.
So, when are you going to tell her you like her?
Well, how about you, man? When are you going to tell Jazz?
I don't know. The time doesn't feel right.
Well, there you go. There you go. Time doesn't feel right.
What if someone else grabs the girl while we wait for the right time?
Somebody already has my girl, remember?
Huh. then there's nothing to lose, right? I mean, you could try to line up the pieces, but the time will never be right, which means the time is always right.
When the fuck you get so smart?
I don't know. So, are you going to tell her?
No.
Why not?
Because the time's not right.
The drama room, another day/time. Members seated on the floor. Kai gazes at Anna, sitting farther away.
What I'll do is read your actual line from the script. And then you, instead of reciting your line, I want you to actually say your subtext, making it as clear and obvious as possible. Understand? No, okay. I'll be more clear as we continue. Okay, who wants to start us off? Kai,
Yeah.
could you come up here to start us off, please? Oh, Anna, you too. Let's do the palm scene.
Okay. He stands directly in front of Anna.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this. My lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. So what's your subtext, Kai? Your subtext, Kai. What do you want to say to Anna? I mean, Juliet, but just can't say openly.
I want to kiss you.
Okay, yes. Can you now say it to Juliet, making it really obvious and heartfelt? You can use the choreography we worked on.
I want to kiss you.
For this game, let's do it over the top, okay? Really lay it on, Kai. Give us your subtext.
I love you. I fell in love with you from the first moment I saw you. And I want so much to kiss you.
Great, amazing. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this, for saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Anna offers her palm to meet Kai's.
Subtext?
I think we're moving too fast.
Giggles from audience.
Have not saints' lips and holy palmers too?
Kai takes another step towards Anna. Their palms meet.
Don't you want to kiss me too?
On Anna. On Kai, as he moves even closer, their faces are just inches away at this point. The lights dim, edge lighting them in surrealistic fashion.
I pilgrim lips that they must use in prayer.
Yes.
Get a room, you two.
The pair jump back from each other.
Right, guys, right. Anyway, guys, you get the idea. I want you all to split into pairs, work on a scene, but instead of saying your actual lines, say your subtext instead.
Kai and Anna flick glances at each other. Kai moves towards Anna to ask to pair up. Then suddenly someone else grabs Anna, Ruth, who plays the nurse, and she heads off.
Good morrow, cousin. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Kai flicks him on the arm. At the school lockers, day. Kai finds a card in his school locker. The drama club's logo, smiling and frowning mask, is printed on it. It reads, "Special rehearsal tonight, my place, 8 p.m., Chris." The reverse has Christina's address on it. Suddenly, someone snatches the card out of Kai's hand. He whirls around. It's Juan.
What's this?
Give it back.
Special rehearsal? What does that mean? Anything to do with all the extra lines you're learning?
I'm not learning extra lines.
Then why are they all highlighted in your script?
Just for fun.
You lie. You always clear your throat when you lie.
I'm not lying.
What are you going to tell Pa?
Do me a favor, okay? Just tell him I'm studying late at the library.
You'll never believe that. Leave it to me, but I'll do it on one condition.
What?
You let me come with you tonight.
Christina's condo, evening. Kai and Zwan walk up to Christina's building after passing beyond the guardhouse. The security guard waves them in.
It's just a lesbian version of R&J. It's not such a big deal. So, what did you tell Pa?
I just told him we were going to the library together.
That's it?
He believes me, Kai. He wouldn't have believed you.
Shit. Well, whatever works.
Anyway, it is a big deal.
What?
A lesbian play put on by Ashton students off campus for public viewing? That's huge. You sure you know what you're getting into?
Inside Christina's condo, the living room. Christina leads Kai and Zwan in. There's loud music thumping in the background, and the lights are dimmed.
This is my sis, Schwan. She just wanted to crash our rehearsal. I mean, assuming that this actually is a rehearsal.
No explanation needed. Sorry to say this is a party and not a rehearsal. I thought our gang needed a break. Plus, my parents are out of town, so why the hell not?
Christina heads down the hallway.
No way in hell am I leaving.
In the kitchen. A member of the drama club named Mime Guy mimes opening a champagne bottle, complete with twisting and popping sound effects. He passes the imaginary bottle to Kai, who passes it to Juan. She takes a swig from the imaginary bottle, delighted.
Anything else in that fridge?
Mime Guy indicates the real fridge with a flourish. Kai opens it, finds a couple of beers. He takes one and offers one to Juan. She shakes her head.
Suit yourself.
Furnishings indicate that Chris's family is well heeled. Various pieces of Christian paraphernalia hang on the walls. Christina, with a glass of wine in her hand, chats animatedly with some members.
All stories are basically about a war between the head and the heart. What wins out, fiery passion or cold logic? Find me a movie or novel that's not about this.
Kai doesn't pay much attention, trying instead to find his target. He finally spots Anna out by herself on the balcony.
Don't follow me.
In the background, Christina continues to chatter to her crowd while Kai makes his way to the balcony.
When passion wins, you get a happy ending. These are your comedies, your fairy tales. When logic wins, you get an unhappy ending, your tragedies, and so forth.
Isn't a happy ending something you get in Geylang?
Laughter all around as Kai steps out and joins Anna on the balcony railing. Around them, the glittering lights of the cityscape.
Hey there.
Hi. Such a long way down.
Kai comes up beside her, peers down. The drop is dizzying.
If Juliet lived on the penthouse level, Romeo would have given up.
Maybe he could have used a grappling hook.
Or a hot air balloon.
The course of true love, right? Have you ever, I don't know, known something's kind of crazy but still wanted to do it?
All the time.
So you went ahead and did it or not?
Funny. Chris was just talking about the very same thing. War between the head and the heart. Your head says it's impossible, but your heart says to go for it.
What else did she say?
I kind of stepped out here after that. Didn't hear the rest. You know what I do when I can't decide? Flip a coin. No, seriously.
He fishes in his pocket for a coin and takes one out.
I flip it as high as I can. And I catch it. And don't look at it.
Oh, that's what you did the other day.
Yep. The whole point of this is in that brief moment when the coin spins in the air, what result were you hoping for?
Anna takes the coin.
Heads, I do it. Tails, I don't.
She flips the coin. It spins. She catches it.
Thank you. That was good advice. I'm going to do it.
Mind if you tell me what it is?
I need to work up the courage first.
The living room. Kai and Anna re-enter the room. Joan makes her way to Kai.
How did it go?
Mind your own business. But if you must know, it went amazingly well.
Pressed, Joan raises a glass full of some brown liquid to Kai's beer can. They clink.
Is that you're drinking?
Something called Bailey's? The mime guy introduced it. It's pretty good. Want some?
Kai tries it while keeping an eye on Anna. His point of view, Anna talks to Gary. They stand in a shadowy part of the hallway.
So what do you think?
Kai, still distracted by what he's looking at.
What? Oh, yeah, it's pretty good.
His point of view, Anna talks to Gary. Gary walks away from Anna, leaving her standing alone in the hallway. After a moment, Anna turns to go in the opposite direction from Gary. On Kai, he takes another swig.
Yeah, this is really, really good. I didn't know you liked alcohol.
This is alcohol?
The hallway outside the apartment, later. Aftermath of the party, people filter out the door, some stumbling, some walking, some still saying goodbye. Mime guy takes off an invisible hat and bows floridly in farewell. Kai does the same back.
If you don't mind me asking, why don't you speak?
Personally, I've always found speech to be an inferior form of expression.
Yeah, got it. Hey, you see my sis?
Outside Christina's condo, downstairs, later. Kai finds Xuan looking a little green, sitting and clutching a handrail at the steps leading out from the lift lobby.
You ready?
Give me a minute.
Dude, you only had one cup.
That's one too much.
All right. Well, I'll wait for you outside.
Kai chats amiably with the security guard at the guardhouse.
Hello, Uncle.
Hello. Ooh. You need to hurry. The last bus is coming.
Got it.
Kai feels a tap on his shoulder.
God, it took you long enough.
He turns around expecting Xuan, but instead it's Gary. His face is red, splotchy.
What did you tell her?
What?
What did you tell her?
Gary taps him roughly on the front of his chest.
Oh, I'm asking you, what the fuck did you tell her?
Nothing.
Fuck you, Chila. You told her something and she broke up with me.
Gary grabs Kai by his collar. Kai tries to wriggle free, pissed off, and suddenly the two of them are tussling. They briefly separate.
She told me she fell in love with someone else. Is that you, fucker?
Dude, just let it go. You're embarrassing yourself.
Fuck you.
Gary lunges at Kai and they begin tussling again. In the background, the security guard watches. He tries to radio for help. Then,
Stop it!
they turn to see Anna. Further back, Christina comes into view. Gary releases Kai's shirt.
Fuck this shit.
He stalks off. Kai brushes his lips with his hand and some bloodstains trail off.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
It's no problem.
Near the guardhouse, later.
Oh, I have to write an incident report.
Uncle,
Oh,
my friends got a little drunk only la. Nothing serious.
Christina's condo, the garden. Kai alone with Anna. She presses some ice to his lip.
You okay?
Yeah. It's been a crazy year, I guess. The person I thought I could love and the person I actually end up falling for, completely different.
Well, better late than never, right?
Christina appears.
Hi, guys. No way you're gonna catch the last bus now. So I guess you can crash here tonight?
No, I was just about to go. Want to share a cab?
Sure.
Anna and Kai walk to the main road.
Where do you live?
Jerome, you?
Juliet. We can't share a cab then.
Oh, well, all right, but we can catch a cab. We can catch a cab from the same spot.
The main road, later. They wait for a cab, then...
Oh, I guess Schwan took a cab home first?
Oh, shit.
Kai sprints back. He's about to round the corner when...
Kai, see you tomorrow at Dobie Gout Station, 10 a.m.
Dobie Gout, what for?
You'll see.
Christina's condo downstairs. Kai finds Juan dozing peacefully right where he left her. He shakes her and she rouses.
Where is everybody?
You're the last one. Let's go.
Did I miss anything?
You have no idea.
Dobie Got Station, day. Anna waits by the station control.
So what's going on?
Follow me. It's just 2 minutes from here.
The performance space, later. Anna and Kai arrive to see Christina waiting for them outside the foyer.
Morning, Kai. Got the keys?
The performance space, the foyer. Christina opens the doors with her keys, leading them inside.
Is this?
Yes.
The auditorium. Christina turns the house lights on. It's a modest space, with about enough seating for 100. On the proscenium stage, the ghost light creates a dusky glow around. When the doors of the auditorium close, the hush is overpowering. The trio take a moment to soak it all in.
So this is really happening.
Why? Did you think we were joking around? Just kidding. I totally know what you mean.
Christina sits on the lip of the stage, her legs dangling off.
By the way, Anna, Gary called me this morning.
Oh, he's out?
Yeah. Can't say we didn't see this coming. Kai, I know you're already doing a bunch of roles, but how do you feel about playing Tybalt?
You don't really expect me to say no, do you?
I don't think we'd presume, but I mean, we'd be thrilled if you agreed.
Sure, why not?
Later. Anna and Chris talk about the lighting /set logistics stuff.
Hey, you know what, guys? I'm headed out of here. Got a ton of tutorials.
Oh, okay.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Kai's on his way out when a theater auntie calls to him.
Jadidi, are you all done?
No, they're still inside.
How much longer will they be?
I don't know.
Can you help me tell them we're turning off the electricity for about 10 minutes for the air condition repair?
Sure.
Kai re-enters. He doesn't see Anna or Chris anywhere. He walks up to the lip of the stage, peers around, nothing. And then he hears some movement off to the wings. Kai moves toward the wings, then partially occluded by the wing curtain. His point of view, Anna and Christina, as the two girls share a kiss in this darkened space. Neither of the girls has noticed him. He steps away. A spotlight fades up dramatically over Kai, throwing half his face into shadow. On his fist, closing over the hilt of a sword.
Thou wretched boy, that didst consort him here, shalt with him hence.
This shall determine that.
At school, in the drama room, another day. We're in the thick of rehearsal with Kai as Tybalt and Christina as Romeo. Christina/Romeo fences with Kai/Tybalt. It doesn't feel like rehearsal. It feels like actual combat. As Tybalt lunges at Romeo with what was supposed to be a killing stroke, Romeo binds the blade and reverses the blow onto Tybalt. She savagely pushes the blade into his body. Tybalt, as he lies on the floor, glazed. We push in on his face as the other actors continue.
Oh, I am fortune's fool.
In the drama room, later. Christina taps Kai on the shoulder as he packs his things.
Kai, sorry I haven't given you much attention lately.
No worries.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Well, in fact, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. You've been playing Tybalt like a villain, but Tybalt doesn't really think he's a villain. Tybalt's bewildered. He's lost. He wants to protect his family at all costs, but his sword is useless here. He masks it as a form of aggression, but underneath it, fear. The most natural, primal of all human instincts.
Fear. I don't know about that. I'm just tapping into his rage.
Rage and fear, two sides of the same coin.
How about you? What are you scared of?
I'm scared that the world won't let Juliet and me be together, that our families are too driven apart.
I don't mean the play. I mean you. I don't get it. You don't seem scared about anything at all. And what if your family finds out what you're doing?
You're wrong. I'm scared shitless every day. Some days the fear gets so bad I want to curl up and cry. Everyone's scared, Kai, but acknowledging that fear is the first step to,
No. What?
to bearing it, mastering it so we can do what's needed. You know what, Kai? I don't say this enough, but thank you for being here with me, for us. We really appreciate it.
Don't thank me just yet. We have no idea how any of this is going to pan out.
Well, that's just another fear we have to add to the pile, I guess.
Yeah.
Christina turns away and begins packing her own stuff. Off Kai, staring at Christina. At school, the parade square, day. A typical flag raising followed by announcements. On Christina, as she stands in a sea of uniforms, the principal, Mr. Liu, addresses the school.
School is not the time nor place to indulge in relationships. Your time at Ashton is precious. Do not let your heart distract you from your studies or your extracurricular activities. Over the past couple weeks, I've noticed a few disturbing incidents. May I remind you, boys are not allowed to carry books for girls.
Slightly suppressed giggles from the students.
If you need to pass an object from a boy to a girl, or from a girl to a boy, you put it on a table first. After that, the other person can pick it up from the table.
Some outright laughs from the audience. Christina laughs, shakes her head.
Give me a fucking break.
She turns to look at Anna, standing several rows away, to find Anna already looking at her. They smile at each other, sharing a private moment despite the physical distance. As students troop off to their classrooms, Bearing their bags and books, Christina moves to Anna.
Need help with that?
Anna hands a couple of books to Christina. Christina stops outside Anna's lecture theater.
See you at recess?
Christina hands back Anna's books. Their fingers graze, not by accident. At school, the running track. Day. A physical fitness test. Christina overtakes a couple of boys and girls on the running track, her running gait strong and solid in stark contrast with the other girls. With a final burst of speed, she thunders past the PE teacher at the finish line.
Wow, you run like a boy. Great job.
She turns to stare at a couple of guys nearby.
What's up, fellas?
Nothing.
She turns away, still catching her breath. The locker area, later. Christina rummages through her school locker. We see a few bits and bobs of stuff related to her R&J production. Then a voice behind her calls out.
You a butch?
Christina freezes. She turns around to look at a guy classmate.
What did you say?
Just asked if you're a butch. If you're not a butch, don't worry about it.
Christina steps towards him, her right hand balled into a fist. The guy classmate takes a step back.
Whoa, hang on. I'm talking about that thing in the toilet.
The bathroom, moments later. Christina bursts into a boys' bathroom. Some male students are here, facing their urinals.
Hey, whoa, what the hell?
Ignoring them, she brushes past and enters a toilet cubicle. Written in black marker on the inside of the door, ask Christina Ong, 2S01C, if she's a butch. On Christina.
Who wrote this? Who the hell wrote this?
No, not me.
She turns away from him, brushes her eyes with the back of her hand quickly.
Just happened to see it, so thought you should know.
Think you should wipe it off.
Heck no, I didn't write it. And it looks like permanent marker. It's not coming off. Not to mention all the other doors.
What other doors?
An adjacent cubicle. Christina stares at identical graffiti targeting her. Another adjacent cubicle, the same, but with an obscene doodle. Meanwhile, the guy classmate takes his glasses off and polishes them on his shirt.
Look, it's just graffiti. It's trivial, right? Only notable thing is it mentions you by name.
Come again?
Mentions you by name?
No, before that.
Trivial?
That's what I thought it was.
She suddenly grabs the glasses from his hand and twists him with both hands. She drops them with a clatter onto the floor.
What the fuck?
How's that for trivial?
She strides out of the bathroom. The guy classmate picks up the remains of his glasses.
Bitch.
A school classroom the next day. Christina works at her desk when the receptionist appears at the door.
I need Christina to come with me to the principal's office.
A school hallway moments later. Christina makes her way down the hallway with the receptionist leading the way. In another classroom, Kai sees her go by. She doesn't notice him looking. He stares at her retreating figure until the teacher inside the classroom pulls his attention back with a scathing look. The office. Christina enters the office to see a middle-aged woman seated outside the principal's office waiting for her.
Mom.
The woman, Mrs. Ong, stands up. The principal's office. Christina and her mom, Mrs. Ong, sit opposite Mr. Liu.
I'm sure this is all a big mistake. The boy made fun of her. She pushed him a little. His spectacles fell and broke. It was an accident.
It's not about the spectacles.
Then what?
He gets up, grabs a box full of stuff off the floor, and places it on his desk. Inside the box are items from Christina's school locker, including pamphlets, sketches, scripts, and all manner of production paraphernalia related to her lesbian production of Romeo and Juliet.
Christina, are you going to make a lesbian version of Romeo and Juliet?
That's invasion of privacy.
You're a student. These are school lockers. You have no expectation of privacy.
Mrs. Ong leafs through the paraphernalia.
What's going on, sweetie? What's this all about?
She wanted to produce a clandestine, obscene version of Romeo and Juliet outside the school. Pro-gay version.
It's outside the school. What does it matter?
As students, you represent the school. Doesn't matter if you do it outside school hours or outside school premises, you still represent us, and the school does not condone homosexuality. May I remind you that you are under this nation's laws. Gay acts are illegal.
But what about the Drama Fest play 2 years ago? Mass by Eugene Fack. It had homosexual themes.
That was performed within the school by Ingen Fack. It wasn't an official school production. We tolerate such plays because we want the free play ideas within the school. But a play like yours can never be performed outside of school by students of the school.
So censorship, in other words. I thought this school was supposed to represent creativity, thinking out of the box.
Your impertinence is noted, but I remind you that the basis for this is well established. There's no way any school in Singapore can let you do as you want to do. These things are not something the Singapore education system endorses. Do you hear me?
Oh, I hear you.
You're hereby forbidden to carry on with your alternative production, effective immediately. Kindly destroy all materials related to it and cease all rehearsals. The school does provide counseling for students regarding your condition. Qualified professionals from the Ministry of Education, which I highly recommend you avail yourself of.
This is ridiculous. My daughter is not a lesbian. Right, Christina?
I'm not. But even if I was, I don't need counseling. If I'm a lesbian, I'm a lesbian. I'm not sick. It's not a disease.
Christina.
It's okay, Mrs. Ong. Christina obviously has great compassion for gay people. She took her compassion a step too far with this ill-conceived production, but truth be told, she...
Go fuck yourself.
Excuse me.
Sorry. I meant to say go fuck yourself, sir.
Abruptly getting up, she strides out.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that last part. Be sure to speak to your daughter about this at home. And counseling's still on the table, should you choose to accept it.
Thank you.
She gets up, moves to go out, then turns back around.
I'd appreciate it if none of this leaves this office. It wouldn't be good for my husband or my family.
Inside Mrs. Ong's car, later. As Mrs. Ong drives, Christina stares at her own reflection in the car window. Then she studies the reflection of her hand in the car window against flickering lights and shadow. Christina's bedroom, later. Christina sits on her bed. She stares dully at a poster of Romeo and Juliet on the wall opposite. Mrs. Ong enters and sits down beside her. She takes her daughter's hand in her own.
I'm sorry for everything that happened today. I really am. But you must admit, it's not a realistic thing to accomplish, right? Who ever heard of a schoolgirl doing this? And did you consider what might happen? You'd have gotten your father in serious trouble. The daughter of a pastor doing a pro-gay production.
It's not a pro-gay production. It's a pro-love production. If you understand the difference.
I do understand, sweetie, but nobody else will. Is it really worth it? It's not your battle, sweetie. Why are you fighting the gay people's battle for them? It's not your battle, sweetie, right? Christina, you're my daughter, and I'm your mother, and no matter what happens, we're tied together. I'll love and support you no matter what. There's nothing that prayer and Jesus can't fix, right? Look at me. Christina, are you a lesbian?
Mrs. Ong hugs Christina fiercely.
Thank God.
On Christina, her head right next to her mother as they embrace tightly.
I'm not a lesbian, Mom. I'm a boy.
Mrs. Ong pulls back slightly from Christina. Mrs. Ong abruptly gets to her feet, walks over to Christina's desk, leans on it with her hands. Her back is to Christina, her face hidden from our view.
No, you're not.
Avoiding Christina's eyes, she whirls around and stares at the theater, movie, music paraphernalia adorning her daughter's bedroom walls.
I shouldn't have let you. It's my fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't have let you. This is the devil's influence.
She moves to the wall and suddenly, savagely rips off the adornments.
Mom, no!
Posters shredded, theater masks ripped down and strewn. Christina tries to restrain her, but she shoves her back.
It's really my fault. But I'll make it right again. I'll make it right again.
Christina watches helplessly as her mother rips her room apart. Only thing left untouched is a cross on the wall. When she finishes, she looks at Christina.
You need to clean this up before your father gets home. Don't want him to worry about it, do we?
She exits the room. On Christina, as a theatrical, surreal light envelops her, she spots something on the floor, picks it up. It's a happy theater mask. She dons the mask. She eyes her happy face in the mirror. A classroom, day. As Anna scrawls in her notebook, someone taps her on the shoulder. It's the receptionist. The office. Anna follows the receptionist inside the office. She sees a policewoman standing by, and she puts her hand on the wall for support. Her point of view, things slowing down, appearing either out of focus or uncannily sharp. Voices around her, muffled.
Did Christina talk with you yesterday?
No. What happened?
Did the two of you ever discuss?
I don't know. What happened?
Voices, faces, blurry, shifting, bits of words, balcony, jumped, and then she sees a photograph, a note written on foolscap paper. It says, "Forgive me, Anna." And then another photograph, Christina's happy theater mask with blood splattered on it. Back to scene. Anna's legs give way under her. She slumps onto the floor. The drama room. Kai arrives for rehearsal and sees a few club members crying.
Production is put on indefinite hold. Everyone can master a grief, but he that has it. It's a time of loss for all of us, but please reach out to each other and to me for support. Has anyone seen Kai?
A school bathroom. Kai stands in front of the mirror. Suddenly he balls his fist and slams it into the mirror several times. His knuckles bleed. He wipes the blood with his other hand. Then he presses the bloodied hand against the mirror, leaving a bloody handprint. In Kai's home, evening. Kai sits on the couch. Kai's father enters through the front door of the flat.
How are you, Kai? School called and told me what happened. So I have something to talk to you about.
I'm okay, Pop.
It's not that. So without telling me, you went ahead and joined the play? If that girl didn't commit suicide, I wouldn't have found out about it.
Jeez, Pop. She's not that girl, all right? She's a human being. A human being just died.
I lost my job this morning. I saw it coming, so it's not the biggest shock. Tomorrow, I'll start sending out my CV. Just want to tell you, I would give anything to be in your shoes. The best school in the country, every door open in front of you. Don't jeopardize your future, Kai. Nobody, not friends, not some stupid drama club, not even your own family. No one will sacrifice for you, so why sacrifice for them? The people you thought would stick around, they don't. They don't. You understand what I'm getting at, Kai? Am I clear enough for you?
Yes.
A classroom. Day. On an empty chair. We gradually pull out to see there are flowers left on the table in front of it. This is, or rather was, Christina's classroom. Just out at the doorway, Mr. Liu talks in a low voice to the female teacher.
We have school policy. We do not glorify suicide.
Mr. Liu leaves. Walking over to the flowers, the female teacher scoops them up carefully in her arms.
I'm going to bring these flowers somewhere else.
At school, in the parking lot. Day. Kai helps Mr. Hayes move boxes into his car. On top of the box is the framed quote we saw earlier, "Never let school get in the way of your education." Mr. Hayes catches Kai looking at it.
Used to think that quote was talking about the student. Only recently did I realize it was talking about the teacher too.
He shuts the trunk of his car with an air of finality and turns to Kai. Kai extends his hand.
We'll miss you, sir.
They shake.
Any idea where Anna is?
Probably in the drama room. She spends a lot of time there nowadays. Alone.
Help me say goodbye to her, please.
I will.
He gives Kai a clap on the shoulder, gets into his car. Off Kai as Mr. Hayes drives off. In the school drama room, later. Kai enters to find Anna sitting on a prop couch. Her face is half in shadow.
Hello.
Hi.
How's everything?
Fine, I guess.
I still want to do it.
Do what? No. There's no way.
You and me. We'll round up a few more people. We can trim some roles, combine them. It's possible.
We'll get expelled.
No, we won't.
What's this about? Honoring her memory? Or?
She stands up.
It's not just that. We're honoring who we are. Who we are, what we feel. How can anyone stop us from expressing ourselves? It's just not me, right? Right, Kai? It's you too?
Are you sure you want me on your side, Anna?
What are you talking about? Of course I do.
Anna grabs Kai.
You and me. We'll put this together, can't we?
Sure we can.
You know what we should do? Flip a coin.
Moments later, on a coin resting in Kai's palm, his fist closes over it. On Kai and Anna, their eyes meeting, he nods and tosses the coin into the air. We follow the coin as it hurtles in space, slow motion, and suddenly...
Stop. Please, stop.
The coin freezes in midair, suspended in time and space. Anna's apartment, present day, evening. Older Kai and Anna sit half in shadow, the manuscript of the coffee table between them.
Why are you doing this?
Because I can't get over it.
I didn't abandon the play. You did. So what's with the regret? You made your choice.
All I know is I spent the better part of the last 2 decades tossing that fucking coin over and over again in my mind and wishing I chose the other way. I honestly thought our individual actions wouldn't matter, that things would get better on their own. But 20 years later, the needle has barely moved. And every time I read the news, how some kid jumped off a building. Every time I read the news, Chris just dies all over again.
Look, you just have to let it go. Like I did.
Kai leaves Anna alone in the drama room. Anna burns the secret production scripts. School goes on. Life goes on.
Anna.
At some point in our lives, we make that wretched choice between our head and our heart. And I could give you the lie that there's no wrong choice, but the truth is, both are wrong.
Back in the present, Anna stands up, goes over to the window, stares out. She presses her hand to the window pane.
Everything fades. Our dreams first of all, but eventually, the hurt fades too.
She lifts her hand up from the surface of the glass, leaving a faint handprint. The handprint fades after a moment.
So what do you really want, Kai? What have I to do with your tale of personal redemption?
I want you to write it with me, the rest of the story.
He picks up the manuscript, turns to the last third of the script, empty pages.
You can't change the past by rewriting it in a novel.
I'm trying to show everyone what could have happened, what should have happened.
You're missing the point. Kai, you know it even though you pulled me into the theater of your imagination to argue the opposite.
She steps forward into the light, and we see her clearly for the first time in this scene, realizing that she looks exactly the same as Anna from 20 years ago. As we continue, bits and pieces of the room disappear like props getting removed from a stage scene, stage lights turning off one by one.
If something truly matters to you, you'd be able to do it alone. And if you can't do it alone, maybe it just doesn't matter enough.
Anna plucks a coin from thin air.
The coin tells you what you hope for, but what do you actually do when it all seems hopeless?
She presses the coin into his palm. At this point, very little is left of the background, just older Kai and Anna in a bright spotlight in a sea of black.
I'm scared.
That's how you know it's worth it.
We hold on older Kai and slowly pull out to see that Anna has disappeared. The light fades back to normal, and we are... Kai's apartment, the study, day. Right back at the beginning of the story, inside older Kai's apartment study in the present time. Insert. The opening scene, a silhouetted figure about to jump from the skyscraper balcony. But just before the figure makes the fatal leap, a hand reaches out to grab the figure by the wrist. We now see the silhouetted figure wears a happy theater mask, and we see who the hand belongs to, older Kai.
I'm not changing the past. I'm changing the future.
Fuck the coin. Let's do this shit.
In the school drama room, day, Anna addresses the drama club members. Beside her is Kai.
If you're able to help me, help us with this production, it would be amazingly appreciated. And if you choose not to, for whatever reason at all, I completely understand. And I ask for your help in keeping it a secret. You can just write your name and decision, yes or no, on these slips of paper, put it in this box, and I'll get in touch with you all accordingly.
At school in the drama room later, Kai and Anna stare at the collected votes. One pile has a lot of slips, and there's only 2 slips in the second pile.
We have 2, Mark and Ben.
That's 2 more than we expected.
True, but still a lot less than we'd hoped. We're gonna have to double up some roles, trim the play down too.
Keeping the most essential bits. I'm Guy. Any chance you can take on a speaking role? I guess you're on light and sound then. What are we doing for props and costumes?
Hey, what do you mean?
But don't think we should just use the stuff from the school, right?
Like you said, we trim our production to essentials.
Minimalist.
Exactly. But we're all avoiding the biggest issue. Who's gonna play Romeo?
I can do it.
Apologies, but we need a girl.
I can play a girl.
I don't think that's quite the effect we're going for. Seriously, what should we do?
I have just the girl you need.
A remote corner, on Kai as he talks to a girl.
You know all of Romeo's lines, don't you?
Every word.
This is a montage as the team moves towards solidifying their clandestine production. At rehearsal.
And what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me.
The school library. Kai watches as Anna tries to copy one of Chris's sketches onto a brand new publicity flyer. We see bits of it, including a part that says, "In memory of Christina Ong, 1974 to 1991.
How do we get these to the right people without getting caught?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
The school photocopy shop. Anna hands a photocopy auntie the publicity flyer. The auntie wears a rosary around her neck.
Auntie, can I have 200 copies, please?
Anna leaves. The auntie takes a look at the flyer. The school photocopy shop later. Anna comes back to pick up her order. On top of the stack of printer flyers, there's a note.
No need to pay. God bless.
A remote corner, Kai approaches someone for help.
I know you've never acted before, but it's not as difficult as you think. Plus, I could really use the help, bro.
Say no more, bro. I'm in. As Mercutio would say, I would fall on my sword for thee, my friend Romeo.
Yeah, Mercutio didn't say that.
No?
Now, don't worry, bro. We'll work on it.
At rehearsal, quick cuts of Swanjin, Xuan, and others. We build up the rhythm until we cut to a hangout corner. Kai studies his lines for the play when someone plonks an envelope in front of him. He looks up. It's Swanjin.
For your play. I know you could use it.
Kai opens the envelope to find money inside.
Thanks.
No thanks needed, bro. Besides, I'm a changed man. I sold them all. All the mags.
What, the biggest, bestest collection of porno this side of Singapore, and you sold it to fund my play?
Hey, it's for a good cause. Bro, there's someone I want to introduce. Jazz?
He beckons, and a girl who was previously hanging nearby steps forward. Her name is Jazz. She shakes hands with Kai.
Bro, are you?
Xuan Jin nods in affirmation. Kai shakes Xuanjin's hand in that cool way and claps him on the back.
I think it's great what you and Anna are doing.
It's okay, bro. She's cool. In fact, she wants to help.
My girlfriends and I sing a cappella, and we like to sing for your play.
But they're really good, bro.
Yeah. It's only 2 days till the performance. You can put it together before then?
No worries.
The old shopping center, day. Anna and Kai purchase rolls of black cloth. At one point, Kai turns and looks off into the crowd.
What?
Oh, nothing. I thought I saw. No.
At the second performance space, the auditorium. Bearing a bunch of stuff, Kai and Anna are about to bump in at the theater when they come face to face with a bunch of teens.
You must be Kai. And Anna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard about what you're doing, and we want to thank you.
How'd you hear about us?
My friend's a cousin of Jazz. Don't worry, we're cool. We want to help you get the word out. Make sure this gets seen.
Anna reaches into her backpack and hands them a bunch of flyers.
Sorry, I don't have more.
No problem. We can make copies. You need any help carrying this?
Later. Bump In has finished. Before they depart, Kai speaks to one unheard by Anna.
Were you following us just now? At the shopping center?
What? No.
Outside the school the next day afternoon. Anna and Kai are about to hop into a cab when Kai suddenly stops in his tracks.
I forgot something from my locker. I'll catch up with you later, okay?
The locker area. It's late in the day, so this area is currently deserted. Instead of heading to his own locker, Kai just stands there. Gary steps out from behind a wall. He pulls down the hood of his hoodie so we can see his face.
How did you know?
I saw your face. Plus, what kind of idiot wears a sweater in this bloody weather? So what the hell do you want, Gary?
Gary strolls over to her locker, taps on it.
The day after I saw Anna for the first time, I switched lockers with the guy next to hers. And that's how we struck up our first conversation, next to each other. You want it? You fight for it. Just something I've learned.
Gary, from me to you, okay? Jealousy eats you from the inside. I know, I've been there.
Fuck you, Chibai.
If something is yours, it's yours. And if it's not, it's not. And no amount of fear or rage can change that.
Kai fishes for a piece of paper. He writes something down on it, passes it to Gary.
Here's the address. We play tomorrow evening. Hope to see you there.
Kai's home, the living room, day. Kai's father circles job ads in the news. Kai and Xuan, wearing backpacks and casual clothes, are about to head out.
Bye, Pa. We're not coming back for dinner.
Where are you two going?
To the library.
Kai grabs Xuan's arm just before she steps out of the house.
Pa, we're not going to the library. The performance is tonight.
And you're going too?
Sorry, Pa.
It all ends tonight. I promise.
Xuan and Kai exchange looks, then exit. The second performance space, dressing room, later. There's a flurry of activity here, that hushed tension and excitement before play opens. Xuan struggles with a wig that is meant to have her look like she has short hair.
Ugh, this isn't working. You know what? Let's chop it off.
Jazz pops in.
I can do it.
She starts snipping away at Xuan's hair.
It's going to look fabulous.
Mime guy helps everyone with makeup. Anna sits close to Kai.
So, I told Gary about the production yesterday.
What if he snitches?
Don't worry, he won't.
The principal's house, his study. Mr. Liu, wearing home clothes, practices putting on a mini putting green. A maid enters. Sir, there's a call. He says he's a student. Mr. Liu picks up the call.
Hello,
Sir?
who's this?
A phone booth. It's Gary.
Sir, I'm Gary Choi from 2SO3B. Remember me? There's something you need to know.
The second performance space, in the wings. From behind the curtain, Kai watches the audience stream in. Juan appears beside him.
How's it going?
We have an actual audience, so that's good.
Kai admires Juan's new bob.
Looks fabulous. Juan, thank you for being a part of this.
I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. I believe you guys are doing the right thing, and I'm proud to be part of it. Okay, I was gonna hug you, but I think we'd agree that's kind of gross, so break a leg and talk to you later.
Break a leg.
She exits as Anna enters. Together with Kai, she peers out from the wings, watching the audience stream in.
Look, it's Mr. Hayes.
Yay! I knew he'd come.
Mr. Hayes takes a seat near the front, then...
Who invited her?
We see Christina's mother, Mrs. Ong, take a seat. She has sunglasses on and her expression is unreadable. The pair retreat back behind the curtain. A sliver of light from the house illuminates them. Anna stands close to Kai, so close he can hear her breathing.
Kai, I really want to thank you for everything. If Chris could see all this, she'd be thrilled. Are you okay?
The principal's car. Gary sits passenger side from Mr. Liu as they speed. The second performance space, in the wings. Back on Kai and Anna.
Nothing. Nervous, I guess.
Yeah.
She stands close to him and opens her palm, a gesture from the play. Kai stares at her palm, hypnotized. He brings his own palm to meet it. Anna draws even nearer to Kai, almost a whisper.
Have not saints' lips.
Isn't that Romeo's line?
I stole it.
She leans in close to Kai, chin turned slightly upward. On Kai.
I killed Chris. I'm sorry. I'm the one who wrote that bloody thing on the toilet doors.
Insert, in slow-mo, a hand vandalizing a toilet door with a black marker. We pull out to see the hand belongs to Kai.
Why?
I was jealous and stupid.
On Anna and Kai. A voice breaks the silence. It's Juan. She enters from the wings.
Guys, time for a warm-up.
Anna follows Juan out of the wings. Kai follows. The second performance space in the green room. Our actors, Kai, Anna, Juan, and even Swan Jin, are in a circle holding hands. Anna leads the warm-up.
We are all connected. We are living, breathing human beings joined together by a universal consciousness. We are all one. 10.
9.
Mr. Liu exits the car with Gary close behind.
8.
7.
6.
5.
On Mr. Liu and Gary hurrying to the performance venue, close-ups of their feet, etc.
4.
3.
The house lights begin to dim. We pick out some of the audience members, Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Ong, and some of the teens that Kai and Anna met 2 days ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder to turn off your pagers if you have them. Kindly refrain from flash photography, please.
2.
1.
Mr. Liu bursts through the door of an auditorium.
Stop this!
He stops short. From the stage, some aunties and uncles in the middle of a Hokkien choral performance look at him with bemusement. Gary also enters and stares at the performers in confusion. Gary looks at the piece of paper that Kai had given him, then realizes he got fake addressed.
Fucking shit!
On a candle flame, burning strong. We pull out to see 3 performers, Jazz in the center and 2 other girls beside her, each holding a candle. All silence. Then Jazz opens up in song. Her partners join in, weaving their voices together for a pure, simple, wordless arrangement of the love theme from Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet. Later. The play has begun. The costumes are spare and the set too, boxes draped with black cloth stacked beside/on each other. The Capulets use a crude depiction of fellatio to denigrate the gay Montagues, attempting to provoke them into a fight.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir.
Later. Juan/Romeo with her kinsman, Ben/Benvolio.
Tell me in sadness, who is it that you love?
In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
Ben/Benvolio responds, pulls her in for a wordless embrace. In the wings. Kai and Anna watch the onstage performance from the wings. He touches her on the arm, but she pulls herself away.
Anna, I'm truly sorry.
Let's just focus on the performance.
On stage. This is the changing partners dance we see in every production. Juan/Romeo and Anna/Juliet stand palm to palm as Kai/Tybalt watches on.
Now, by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike her dead, I hold it not a sin.
On the audience, rapt. Later, the balcony scene.
And the place death. Considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do that dares love attempt? Therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
A phone booth, evening. Gary leafs through a phone book while he calls every place in town with a theater. Mr. Liu watches on.
Wait, repeat that? Sir, there's something happening tonight at Jurong Auditorium. Memorial for Chris. It started an hour ago.
On stage, later. The scene where Kai/Tybalt accosts Juan/Romeo and Shanjin/Mercutio stands up for him.
Romeo, the hate I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain.
Tybalt, the reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage. To such a greeting villain am I none. Therefore farewell. I see thou know'st me not.
Kai/Tybalt spoils for a fight and will not be denied. Shanjin/Mercutio spars with Kai/Tybalt, a messy affair with both men scuffling and sprawling. Then, the house lights go on. There's a rumble from the confused audience. Kai/Tybalt and Shanjin/Mercutio disengage from each other. Auditorium. Mr. Liu has entered the back of the auditorium. Sweat pools on his shirt.
This stops now.
All eyes fix on Mr. Liu. Coming down the steps, Gary slips into the back of the hall, unnoticed. Anna appears out of the wings on stage, along with some other cast and crew members.
Sir, you have no right.
Hear me out. In a sense, you lot are doing what you're supposed to do. You're the cream of the crop. Your job is to question, to challenge existing boundaries. So in this sense, I'm actually proud of you. But this is still a mistake. True change comes from the top, not from the bottom. Want to change the law? Become a minister. Want to change what students are allowed to learn? Become an educator. Want to bring gay rights into the national conversation? Get into parliament and you can say whatever you please. There's a right time and a right place for everything. This isn't it. So, respectfully, pack up. Go home. But you can hold your head high. This is a victory, not a defeat. And you should be proud of yourselves for walking from this.
Kai moves forward.
Sir, respectfully, every single thing you just said was complete and utter bullshit. I know this because it's the same bullshit I fed myself for ages, but at no time or place do people stop being human beings.
Enough! You mistake my kindness for weakness. You want to continue this obscenity? You're dragging the school's name through the mud. And God forbid that happening on my watch. If I hear so much as one word of Shakespeare, you're expelled. Out! Now!
On Anna, as she slowly turns around to look at her cast and crew.
No!
No.
No.
You're suspended for 1 week. Talk back to me again, and I'll expel you. Are you so naive to think I'm incapable of expelling students? Ever hear of that kid 3 years ago that I expelled? No. My point exactly. You think you can make yourself a martyr? You'll be forgotten, or worse, ignored.
Quiet.
But
I'm the chair of the drama club, and I speak on behalf of the club, not you. I don't want to hear another word from you.
Anna turns to the audience.
Well, I guess this is it. Thank you, everyone, for all your support.
She turns toward Mr. Liu.
Sir, I hope you'll reconsider Akai's suspension. He didn't mean it. Please suspend me instead. This play was my idea.
You're both suspended. Now get out of here, the whole lot of you.
He spins around and strides out of the auditorium.
Pretty clever giving me that fake address. Not clever enough.
On Kai.
is this the first time tattling to Mr. Liu? Or the second time?
On Gary. Kai suddenly lunges at Gary, but Mime Guy and Swan Jin pull him back. On Gary, he points at Kai and brings a finger to his lips, gesturing, hush. He turns and saunters out. On Kai. The foyer, later. The audience filters out of the venue. Mr. Liu watches. Backstage. Kai walks over to a pile of discarded black cloth and grabs a handful. In the background, Swan Jin looks up from packing props, catches Kai's expression.
What?
Outside, moments later, nighttime. A chunk of audience mills around looking uncertain. Anna, now in casual clothes, steadfastly refuses to talk to Gary. She's busy chucking props and costumes into the trash.
Despite what you think, I'm no snake. This is for your own good.
Honestly, I'm not thinking of you at all.
What the hell is he doing?
Anna turns to look. An open field. Kai, now dressed in casual clothes, stands in the middle of an open field with arms raised to the sky. He takes a strip of black cloth and ties it around his mouth like a gag. From further down at the field's edge, Swan Jin turns on the floodlights of his car, casting a luminous glow around Kai. Inside the car.
All right, Kai. If you're going to get expelled, let's do it in style.
On Kai, he puts his hand out and fiddles with the knob of an imaginary radio, just like he did in rehearsal. We hear the sound of white noise until Kai finally finds the channel he's looking for, and music blares into life. Following the beat of the song, Kai starts a goofy mime. Inside car, Xuanjin stares at Kai.
Shit.
On Kai, as he continues doing goofy stuff, running man, hammer dance, he beckons to Xuanjin. Meanwhile, the audience from earlier, including Anna and Xuan, gape at him. Inside car.
Oh, fuck.
He gets out of the car, the floodlights are still on, and walks over to Kai, slouching slightly, hands in pockets. On Kai and Xuanjin. Xuanjin pulls out a strip of black cloth from his pocket and ties a gag just like Kai's.
Sorry in advance.
What for?
Kai suddenly cocks his fist and punches Xuanjin in the chin. It's not forceful, but it gives Xuanjin a shock.
Shit.
Xuanjin nods. He suddenly lunges towards Kai and grabs him roughly. The two begin to scuffle. Suddenly, Kai whips out a knife.
It's our prop knife.
On Anna. On Kai and Xuanjin. Or should we say Tybalt and Mercutio. Kai/Tybalt lunges towards Xuanjin and Mercutio with the knife. Meanwhile, Xuan breaks from the crowd of onlookers and runs toward the two scufflers. She stares at them quiet until...
Pull, Tybalt! Good Mercutio!
Xuanjin tosses a strip of black cloth and she puts it on. Xuan/Romeo tries to hold Xuanjin Mercutio back, but he will not suffer. Kai Tybalt longer. At Kai Tybalt's next lunge, he grabs him and the two wrestle for the knife. Suddenly, the two guys separate. Xuanjin Mercutio falls heavily on the grass. He feels his belly, and we can almost imagine a gash there from our memory of the famous scene. Xuanjin Mercutio tries to downplay the injury with a laugh, substituting the famous words, "'Tis but a scratch." Then he collapses. Kai Tybalt lets the knife slip from his hand. He strides away. On audience.
They're going to get expelled. Every one of them. You'd better not join them.
Anna is already walking over. On Anna. We follow her as she goes close to the others. She takes a seat on the grass right outside their performance area. On Juan Romeo, as she picks up the knife, dashes over to Kai Tybalt and plunges the knife into his belly. Kai Tybalt collapses. Juan Romeo sinks to the floor, her bloody revenge complete, and reality starting to sink in. Almost as if on cue, Kai, Xuanjin, and Xuan stand up simultaneously. They sit down in the offstage area just as Anna gets up to take her place on stage. Mr. Liu watches the custodian lock down the auditorium doors. Satisfied, he heads outside. Only to see a small crowd of onlookers watching his students, formed mostly by the audience from earlier. He attempts to push his way to the front of the crowd when Mr. Hayes grabs his arm.
Mr. Liu, don't do it.
These students are deliberately disobeying me.
No, they aren't. You said not a word of Shakespeare. I don't hear a word of Shakespeare.
They're acting.
All I see is a bunch of kids goofing around. Happens every day, everywhere.
Mr. Liu will not be denied. He pushes forward again and Mr. Hayes grabs his arm again.
Are you really going to expel them all? Every single one? If anyone's dragging the school's name through the mud, it's you, not them.
As the scene unfolds on stage, Kai sits off stage next to Anna. She doesn't look at him. All focus is on the stage, but Kai feels her hand burrow into his own, holding tight. On Kai. For this, everything is worth it. Later, Juliet drinks from her vial. She falls into hypnotic sleep almost as deep as death. It starts to drizzle, but the crowd of onlookers makes no move to depart, so spellbound and respectful they are for the performance. This is the scene where Romeo enters Juliet's tomb. Romeo cradles Juliet in her arms. We pick out various people watching. Raindrops glisten on their faces. Mr. Hayes, some of the teens, even Mr. Liu. Tears stream down Mrs. Ong's face. On Romeo, not noticing that Juliet stirs, she drinks from her vial, clutches her throat, collapses. As Juliet comes to, she sits up, startled to find herself where she is, until she remembers. On Juliet, she finds Romeo beside her. She shakes Romeo. She does not rouse. Then she finds the vial of poison in her hand. Realization sinks in, and then despair. Then she gathers herself, her point of view, looking down at Romeo. The light around them flares up. Anna's hand sweeps across Juan's face, and suddenly we see her looking down at Christina instead. A dead Christina. Cradling her face, Anna leans in and kisses her on the lips. At last, Chris is at peace. Back to scene. Juliet plunges a dagger into herself. She crumples over Romeo, still embracing even in death. Stillness, silence, until Jazz's voice fades in. She is joined by the other a cappella girls. We hear the love theme again, but this time, the song resolves not towards despair, but towards hope. And then, rapturous applause. The rain comes down a little harder, but no one cares. Mr. Liu is nowhere to be seen, but no matter.
We did it. We finished the story.
No, you finished it. But your story doesn't end here, does it?
Anna raises her hand, offering her palm. The sourceless light is intense. Kai's palm meets hers, and we flare to complete white. Kai's apartment, his bedroom, day, back in the present day. On older Kai's hand, pressed to the surface of a mirror, so it looks like he's pressing someone else's hand. He withdraws his hand. A handprint lingers on the surface. He stares at himself in the mirror. Kai's study, later. The printer pushes out Kai's complete manuscript. The top page reads,
This never happened, but I wish it did.
He deletes, types, then he prints out the amended page, picks it up, reads. It now says,
This never happened, but it will.
Coffee shop, days later. Older Kai sits opposite his publisher, who lays the printed manuscript on the table.
So what do you think?
Not sure if the time is right for a book like this.
The time will never be right, which means the time is always right.
Bookstore, day. A stack of books. Very simple covers with the title School Story. Back room. Older Kai looks out at the modest standing room crowd here for the Meet the Author session.
What's wrong? Just go out there and make some small talk. I thought you liked playing to a crowd.
That's fiction, not real life.
I mean, whatever it is, Kai. Perk up and sell some books, yeah?
How long did I spend writing this? Too long.
We hear polite laughter from a crowd.
So I'm going to leave it at that. Next question.
So how much of this book is fiction and how much is real experience?
We begin to follow a female hand holding a copy of his book, pushing her way out front.
50-50, I guess. But I can't tell you which is which. I don't want to get sued, you know. The facts may not be real, but the emotions are. And that's the crucial thing, I guess.
What I meant to ask specifically, is Anna a real person?
No comments. Definitely no comments. Last question, somebody.
The last question comes from the person holding his book, who has now pushed her way to the edge of the front row. We may recognize her voice.
Would you write a second book?
We still don't see her face, but older Kai has.
I'm not sure. I'm still deciding.
On older Kai, we're inhabiting the point of view of this person who sounds like Anna.
How would you decide?
Well, I could flip a coin.